Hey guys, this is Matt Core from Ctrl+Paint.com, and as we continue talking about getting organized in Photoshop, I think we have to talk about your custom brushes. Because when I'm painting here, I use a lot of the flat, round, and soft brushes, but sometimes it's nice to have these very specific custom brushes to do really specific shapes. Now, I think it's easy as an artist to get overwhelmed by this. It's so easy to go out and download somebody else's brush pack. You can find yourself with 100 brushes without really trying. So if you have 100 brushes, are you really using that many? So if this is you and you say, you know what, I need 100 brushes, what I'd recommend you do is sort of organize them inside of your little right click here. And you do that with the preset manager. Now, I don't actually want to go into the details of this because YouTube user DeviantRaw has a really great video that talks all about this. So I'll link it in the bottom of the post, and here's a screenshot. Essentially what he does is makes little labeled categories inside of his custom brushes, and it just kind of keeps everything organized. But if this is something you want to do, I recommend you check his video out. But frankly, what I'd suggest is just have fewer brushes. It's really pretty simple. If you don't have 200 brushes, you don't really need to organize much. Now, as I work, I tend to have some brushes that I use a lot and then some brushes that I don't use all that often. So I didn't actually get rid of all my brushes. Instead, the compromise I have is that I use tool presets for the brushes that I use the most often. So let's look at what tool presets do. This menu here is, I don't know, maybe 10 presets total, 3 or 4 of which are brushes. I have a smudge tool, a couple eraser tools, and what these just give me access to are my most commonly used tools. So what this means is with the brush tool selected, I can go hard round, soft, all the basic ones. Now the extra nice thing is you can actually just use this to switch tools completely. So I didn't really even need to select the brush tool first. So here I'll change to a blender brush. And in one click there, I switch the tool and the tool preset. So I can do the same with an eraser. And then go back to the hard round if I choose. So this is a really nice way to kind of quickly jump around between things that you use all the time. Now, clearly, the more things you have here, you start to have that original problem again, which is it's not very organized. Because it might be that your list is this long. And once you start getting into that territory, I don't know that it's actually any more convenient than just opening up right click and choosing a brush. So what I've done is I've very carefully thought about what are the tools that I use the most, and then I make a list of tool presets. Now, the really nice thing about these tool presets list is that you can save out multiple ones. So here, if I go to the right side of my palette here, I can go to vector tools, which I created, and it's going to say, do you want this to replace your current tools? Yes. Now what I've got here are some tools that I don't use all the time, but if I'm doing something more like graphic design, working with vectors, this is really useful. So here I have just the path tool. I have a black line stroke. I have a white line stroke. And I have a basic rectangle. All of these things are tools that I use when I'm doing a very specific task. Now, if I'm done doing vector, well, it's really easy to switch back. So I'll go to the one I've titled Basic Painting Tools. I say okay, and here I am again. So now I have just those workhorse tools that I use all the time that are my basic painting tools. So I can't say one way or another whether having 100 brushes is right for you. But I can say that you're probably not going to use all the brushes all the time. And if that's true, you might as well have a solution. So tool presets are something to consider, whether you want to switch between just those basic ones you use all the time, or you might just want to think about getting rid of some tools. Because I strongly believe that if you have fewer options and fewer tools, you're just going to paint more fluidly. Because it just means you have fewer things to think about. You have a few things that you know exactly how they work, so you can just get straight to the painting. So hopefully this is giving you some ideas about ways to sort of streamline your brush organization. But if you have other ideas about this, I'd really love to hear your input in the comments. So let us know what you think. Thanks for coming to the site, guys.